All right, can you see me clearly? Let me adjust something here. Okay, I think we're good. Hey, Karma, how are you? Let me do one more thing. Is that better? Maybe that's a little bit better. Okay, okay. Well, thank you again. Hey, lady, how are you? I can't hear you. Good. All right. All right, all right. So let's go ahead and get started, please. Well, I want to welcome everyone to day 3 of our Relax, Relate, and Release challenge. It feels like it's been longer than 3 days, actually. but yeah, as you know, the purpose of this challenge is really to give you some tools that you need in order to live a more relaxed life and, kind of move through life with ease. The last couple of days, I've given you a lot of information. Yesterday, we talked about perfection, how to get over the need to have everything just right. The day before that, we talked about getting your mind right, getting your letting go of some of the false beliefs, the negative thinking, and things like that in order to release a lot of things that we're holding inside. So today is the fun part. Today, let's see here. That's a little bit better. Okay, today we're going to talk about how you get it all done. Because if you're like me, you do a whole lot of stuff, right? Like for myself, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, and I'm a sister. I'm not a mother, but I have a fur baby. I have a dog, and he's like a kid. So I feel like I am a parent because I have to get a babysitter for him. I take him to the doctor. It was like I had a trainer for him. I gotta buy my dog clothes, y'all. Shoes and the whole thing. So I feel like I am a mother at times. What else do I do? Oh, I volunteer. I sit on the boards of different nonprofit organizations. I have a lot of stuff that I do. Not to mention, I got to cook. I got to clean. I got stuff to just take care of. Get my hair done. I had to go to the beautician today to start talking about different ways to do my hair. Like, there's just a lot that's on my plate. And my schedule is probably fairly light compared to everybody else, right? So how do you get all your stuff done while staying in a state of ease? How do you get everything done while being relaxed and being calm and making time to take care of yourself? So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you haven't gotten your paper and pencil already, go ahead and get it because you know how today goes. So the first thing I want to remind you of, actually, this quote that I saw that I thought was really appropriate. It says, the fact is time flies. The good news is that you are the pilot. So basically, when it comes to getting it all done, you have to be the master of your time. You have to have your time management skills on point. You really do. Because if you don't learn to master your time will master you. Have you ever looked up one day and you're like, man, where did the time go? It's 11 o'clock already. It's 8 o'clock already. It's one of two things happening. Either you are so busy, you're running from point A to point B to point Z, and you just kind of missed everything, or you are doing something that you love so much that time just kind of flew. Chances are you're probably not doing the very thing that you love to do. So your time has been filled up with busyness and filled up with distraction. So by the time you actually get a chance to sit down and actually take a look at what it is you need to do, the time has already gone by. So the first key to kind of getting this all done is really accepting the fact that not everything has to be done all at one time. Women, we are master multitaskers, right? I don't know if you've seen this video, and I forget who did the video, but he makes a comparison between the male brain and the female brain. The male brain is very good at compartmentalizing, meaning if they're thinking about food, that's all they're thinking about. They're thinking about sex, that's all they're thinking about. They're thinking about work, that's all they're thinking about. Women, we be at work thinking about dinner, thinking about the kids, thinking about going to visit our parents. We do all this stuff simultaneously. And even myself, I've had to I've had to kind of catch myself at times because I'll find myself on the phone checking email while trying to walk my dog all at the same time. And sometimes I even try to eat dinner along with that too. So we kind of accepted this notion that not only are women good at multitasking, it's kind of our badge of honor if we do multitask. But here's the thing, we want to get out of doing that type of thing because multitasking actually is what causes more stress. Multitasking is what causes us to make mistakes. Multitasking causes us to put too much burden on our shoulders, on our responsibilities, and that is what causes the dis-ease and the unrest in our minds and in our bodies. So you want to get to a point. Well, really the purpose of time management is simply learning how to plan and to organize your time, because time is the only, time really is the only resource that is non-renewable. Once time is gone, you can't go back and get it. Yesterday is gone. The last minute we just spent is gone. The last hour we just spent is gone. We cannot renew time. So we have to make the most of the time that we have. And when you manage your time well, you'll end up with less stress. You'll actually feel a sense of achievement because now that you know what you're doing and when you're doing it and how you're doing it, you actually feel like you've accomplished something. You're feeling proud of yourself. You're feeling, what's the word? Actually, you build up your confidence, right? When you go through your day, like, I knocked this out, I knocked that out, I got the kids fed, I got the project done. You're like, I did that. Like, I knocked that out the park. You begin to feel good about yourself when you're able to manage your time wisely. And besides, you're setting a good example as well. Whether or not you have children, there are people watching you. So if you have children, you're teaching them how to manage time. If you're at a job, and people are watching you, here's the thing. You teach them to respect your time. That's one of the things I used to do all the time when I was working is, so we can have these calendars at work, right? And I would do two things. One, I would block out my lunch hour because if I didn't, folks would schedule meetings during my lunch. And I'm like, that's the only time of the day I have for myself. I am not about to let you schedule over my lunch hour. And then I would block out time on my calendar just to do like work, because there will be times where I could have meetings scheduled from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and not have time to do the actual work. Because one thing about office politics these days, folks schedule meetings to talk about having meetings. And I don't even understand why we do that, right? So when you begin to manage your time and plan your day, and you begin to set boundaries around your time, you teach people how to respect you. You teach people how to respect your time as well. But I'm going to get into that a little bit later on. So there are so many benefits to that. The challenge is those of us who are free spirits. I don't consider myself a free spirit. I consider myself a nerd because I am a very structured person. Now, my background is in engineering, so I like structure, I like form, I like a plan, I like outlines. Like, I think in graphs and charts. That's just how my brain works. But those people who are free spirit, who are very spontaneous, they just kind of go from here to here to here. Time management is more of a struggle because it kind of forces you to stay within a box or color within the lines. But the things I'm going to teach you here tonight, you can apply it to your life regardless of if you're a nerd like I am or if you are a free spirit. Because one thing about free spirits is that you have to give yourself room to move freely. And so you have to learn how to incorporate that into your time management skills. So before we get into time management, there are some things that we have to discuss first and make decisions on before you decide how you're going to best use your time. The first thing you have to make a decision on is, what are your values? What are your values and what matters most to you? If you are not very clear on your values, then that is what causes you to say yes to every request. That is what causes you to run from one point to another all the time and not get anything done. So ask yourself, what are my values? Your values could be, you value yourself, right? You value family, could be career or your money, entertainment or free time. It could be health, or it could be spirituality. Those are usually the 6 areas. And I'll repeat that: yourself or personal self-care, your family, your career or your money, entertainment or free time, health, or spirituality. Those are the 6 areas that your values, your main focuses fall into. So what are the main focuses? And when we think about what our main focuses are, you basically have to rank it. Like, what's first, what's second, what's third? And what ends up happening is 2 things ends up happening. We either say one thing and do another. We say, well, I value God first, family second, and then career third. But then in reality, we value our job first, the kids second, and then, entertainment or free time third, because that's where we're actually spending our time. Or we say, well, I love myself first, and I'm going to serve God second, then I'm going to do my free time third. But in reality, take care of yourself is at the very bottom of your list, which is why you end up feeling frazzled and just stressed out all the time, because you haven't prioritized taking care of yourself. So you want to do 2 things. Decide what your values are right now based on who you believe you are. What are your values, and prioritize them. Put them in order. And then take a look at your life over the past week and ask yourself, realistically, based on my behavior, based on my decisions, what have been my top 3 priorities? So last week, actually, I'll use myself as an example. Last week, my priorities were health, because I started going to the gym every single day. Y'all, I'm so tired. I started going to the gym every single day. That was my priority. My other priority was spirituality. I upped my sacred time with God. Then my third priority was my career and my business. And let me reorder that, because it's not in the right order. My first priority really was my spiritual time. My second priority is my health, and then the third priority was my career and my money. Those are my priorities based on my actions and my decisions last week. Now, if I step back and say, what do I want? What do I believe my priorities are? What do I believe my values are? I would probably say God, health, I would say family or relationships, like relationships with my friends and stuff like that. Then I would put in career or money. Then I'll put in my free time. And then I will put in self or something like that. Actually, myself is probably a little bit higher up, but based on my actions is a little bit different. So you want to get clear on what it is you actually do and what it is you actually want. What are your values, and then put them in order from highest priority to lowest priority, okay? And then the next thing you want to do is look at your responsibilities. Look at your chores. Meaning, like for myself, I have to do laundry, have to clean the dishes, I have to cook, have to walk my dog every single day, twice a day. I have to run errands, I have to grocery shop. What are your chores? Those things that you do every single day or every week that really takes up a lot of your time. Get clear on what your chores are, and make a list of what your chores are on a weekly basis and on a monthly or quarterly basis. So there are some things that you have to do, like getting your oil change. That is a chore to me. And that only happens once every 3 months, but you want to put that on your radar in a separate list. These are things I have to do once every 3 months to make sure that everything is in order. My car is in order, my health is in order. You may have to schedule doctor's appointments or vet appointments if you have a dog. Put those on your list of things that you know that you have to do. Okay, so those are your chores. So we're clear on our values and how to prioritize them. We know what I call them rote, those things that you just do because you have to do. You don't really find enjoyment in them. You know what your chores are. The third thing is, what are your goals? What are your goals for the week? And if you are not in the habit of setting weekly goals, get in the habit. Because when you set weekly goals for yourself, that helps you to select which activities you need to do first. It helps you to decide how you spend your time. See, usually we just go about the week knowing we got to go to work, we got to get the kids to school, we know we got to, go visit mama. We know what we have to do, but we never set any goals for how we want our week to end. So when you start on Sunday, and I'm going to talk about this later on, so I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But for me, Sunday is my day to plan for the rest of my week. Sunday night is when I sit down and say, okay, when I get to the end of the day on Saturday, these are the things I would like to have accomplished. This is how I want to feel when I look back on my week, so that I can know how to plan my week. So at the end of the week, I want to be able to say, yes, I worked out 6 times a week. Yes, I spent at least an hour a day in quiet time with God. Yes, I planned all of my meals and did not eat out for the rest of the week. Those are my goals I set for myself. And I don't give myself, a list of 10 or 20 goals per week. Keep it only to 3. 3 goals per week. And it doesn't mean that you can't do anything else, but those 3 goals are going to be based on your values and based on the things that you know that you have to do, or things that you know you have to get done. So let's say, for example, you know that you need to spring clean your house. So at the end of the week, you're going to say, yep, by the time I get to Saturday night, I want to be able to say I have cleaned up my house, or I have cleaned out the garage, or I have whatever it takes to get to that spring cleaning, that sense of satisfaction at the end of the week. Because that's the whole key. You want to set milestones for yourself so that you can have that sense of achievement, have that sense of accomplishment, have that sense of, I did something this week, I accomplished some things, and I feel good about that. That's the whole point. You don't want to get to the end of the week and be like, dang, I still ain't done nothing I wanted to do this week, or dang, I still haven't accomplished the thing I said I was going to do. And it's all because we did not go and take the time and do these steps. So that's number 3. Number 4, now you're thinking about our weekly goals, and you began to think about the tasks that has to take place to achieve those goals. Now you want to prioritize. And there are 4 categories you want to prioritize into. It's urgent, important, and I call this 3rd one nice to have. It'll be nice if I get this done, but it's not necessary that I get it done. Then the 4th thing is unimportant, meaning that I really don't have to go and sit and listen to this girl whine over some spilled milk or something, but she may want me to. So it's really unimportant right now, but it's on my radar things to do. So when you prioritize based on what's urgent and what's important. So for example, I was watching a show the other day, and I forget the name of the show, but the kids came up to the mom and said, oh, by the way, Mom, we forgot to tell you last week that we have to have cupcakes in class tomorrow. Yeah, I know it's 6 o'clock in the evening, but can you get us cupcakes by 7 a.m. tomorrow, baked fresh, not store-bought? And I know it's a sitcom and whatnot, but I know a lot of people go through that, where you have these last-minute requests that ends up kind of shifting your day because you're trying to meet it. So when you get those requests, you have to ask yourself, is this urgent? Like, is this life or death? Is it going to affect my family? Is it going to affect my finances? Is it going to affect my relationships? Or is it important? Is it important where it aligns with one of my 3 priorities or one of my 3 goals for the week? And then ask yourself, what will happen if it doesn't get done? Like in this case, the mother broke her back trying to get her kids cupcakes for the next day, all because they forgot to tell her a week ago. Now, in my opinion, as a mother, I would have said, well, you know what? Maybe we're not going to do the cupcakes tomorrow. We'll use this as a learning tool for you to remember to tell me about things ahead of time. Will the kids be upset? Absolutely. Will they get over it? Absolutely. So because you did not have time, because it was on your radar things to do, because it didn't fall into the urgent category or the important category, it kind of fell into the nice to have or maybe even the unimportant category. Now you have more of a reason and more of a foundation to say, no, not this time. I am not able to do that. So you still have control of your time, you have control of your day, and you did not allow yourself to get into a stressed mode trying to meet a deadline that was just popped on you. Okay, so that's what I mean when we talk about prioritizing, putting things in the 4 categories: urgent, important, nice to have, or unimportant. Okay, number 5, something that you want to consider, and this is optional, but I have done it myself and it does help, is to be well organized. And when I say be well organized, everything has to have a place. So your towels go in a certain place, your socks go in a certain place, your files go into a certain place. And if you're like me, sometimes I have organized chaos, especially in my office, because I pile up things, but I know exactly where to go to get it. And then sometimes I accumulate so many files from work with different customers and my books and my own personal study materials. Like my office, it doesn't look like a war zone, but it looks interesting. So I actually hired somebody, and she wasn't expensive at all. I hired somebody to come and help me get organized because one of the things that we talked about on Sunday is you want to declutter your environment. When you have a place and a space for everything, it allows you to think clearer. And because my office at this one particular time, it really did look like a war zone. It wasn't too bad, but I just didn't have things in the right place. I began piling up stuff on the floor. I had stuff on my desk, and I had kind of books kind of stacked up here, up against the wall. And so I brought this woman in. It took her maybe all of 45 minutes to kind of just look in the room. The room wasn't big. My office is like maybe 10 by 12 or something like that. So it's not a big space. But in 45 minutes, she kind of looked at everything, talked to me about how I use the space and how I wanted to fill the space. So it took her 45 minutes to fill the room and create a plan in her brain. In an hour, we had the whole place organized. I was like, well, hot dog. This is pretty good. And so when I was able to get myself back organized, she had a filing system for everything. She had even my books. Like, I am a structured person. So I will organize my books by categories, even my movies. And I don't really buy DVDs anymore. When I was buying DVDs, I organized my DVDs by category and then by size. Because, you know, some of the Disney DVDs, the box it comes in is bigger than regular DVDs. I have The Lion King and I have all that stuff, right? So I used to organize this stuff based on size and based on genre. My bookshelf, I will organize it based on genre, not really by size. She had my books organized by size, color, genre. I was like, and what I didn't realize, it was visually calming. When she organized my books like that, when I looked at my bookcase, it was almost like a piece of art versus a bookcase. It became calming to me, and I didn't realize how, or really the science behind it. So if organizing is not your strong suit, I would highly recommend, if you have the resources, to look into finding an organizer. If you're in the Houston area, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with the organizer that I use, because she was just phenomenal. But if you're not in the Houston area, trying to find an organizer, just Google, Chicago organizer, or there is an organization. Actually, this is a real profession, and there's like a professional organization that organizers are a part of. And I'll have to find it. I don't know it off the top of my head, but that could be a resource for you to find an organizer in your area. And I want to say, because she didn't just do my office, she did a couple other areas of my house as well. I think I may have paid maybe $200 for like 4 hours of her time. It was like $50 an hour So if you only need her for 1 hour, that's $50. And I know some of us get caught up in the price of things, but let me ask you this. How much is your peace worth? If you could spend $50 or even $100 for someone to organize your house so that when you walk in your house, your brain immediately relaxes. How much is that worth? Because it's not a one-time thing. When you use the systems that they give you, you're going to have a constant peace. You're going to have a constant relaxation every time you walk into there. Even the kitchen, like she organized my pots. I was like, I didn't know you could do that. I know where my pots go. They go over here. My plates go up here. My glasses go up here. But she had it in such a way. I was like, well, damn, why didn't I think of this? But yeah, I would highly recommend being or hiring an organizer. But if you are a very organized person, put it to use in your own home. Put it to use in your own space and have a place for everything. If you are not in a position to hire an organizer, I would recommend going to Marshall's or going to, what's the other store? Ross or something like that, or even to Walmart, and get bins or decorative boxes to put stuff in, like in your bathroom. Like a woman's bathroom is probably like a war zone too, right? Between makeup and hair products and all this other stuff. Put all your makeup in one bin, put all your hair care products in another bin, put everything else in another bin, so that at least, even though the bins may not be as organized, but everything has a place. So that is a starting point, because when you begin to have an organized environment, then that begins to affect other areas of your life. Your thinking becomes more organized. Your thinking becomes clearer. You can now, plan out a little bit easier. Okay? So that's number 5. And then the next one is simply this. Number 6, stop procrastinating. Stop procrastinating. Tomorrow is not promised. The only time you have here is today. And I know on Saturday morning, you just want to lay in bed for an extra hour that may end up turning into an extra 4 hours. But what I have learned about that is when you go ahead and get up and do the things you need to do, you have time to come back and take a nap. So don't procrastinate. If you have time to get it done and it's a priority for you, go ahead and get it done, knock it out the way. Then you have more free time, because what ends up happening is, as you're laying in bed thinking, or you're sitting on the couch thinking, man, I really need to do this, or maybe I'll just wait 15 more minutes for this show to go off, but you cannot enjoy the time that you're using to procrastinate, because in the back of your mind you have that nagging feeling, that nagging thought that says you really need to be working out, or you really need to be filing these papers, or you really need to be doing X, Y, and Z. So there's not even any peace in the procrastination. Karma, you raised your hand. Let's see here. Can you hear me, Karma? Did you mean to raise your hand? Okay, all right. Well, I'll ignore that then. Okay, good. So I don't even know the purpose of the whole raising your hand on this Zoom platform, because I can see you right here. So, but anyway, so those are the things you want to consider when we start talking about getting things done. Get clear on your values, to get clear on what your regular chores are every week and every month or every quarter. What are your weekly goals? Prioritize your activities based on urgent, important, nice to have, and unimportant. Be organized, and then avoid procrastination. Okay? So now what I want to go into is how to actually get it all done. Like, what are the steps you need to do in order to get all the things done on your to-do list? Okay? So the first thing you want to do is plan your downtime. Plan time to rest. Do that first and make it non-negotiable. For me, my downtime is Friday night from 6 p.m. No, actually, it's probably starting like around 4 p.m. till 6 a.m. the next day. Don't ask me to do nothing. I ain't picking up no work. I'm not getting on the internet. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to get a massage. I'm going to take a nap. I'm going to do whatever it is. That is my time. And that time is non-negotiable. Plan that first. Because if you don't plan that first, you will burn yourself out. And this is a secret ninja trick that every successful person that I know, this is what they do. People who, I mean, ask, maybe if you know some people in your life who are making a lot of money, who seem to have like a great relationship, or they just seem to have their life together. A lot of the people who really do have their life together, they have it on their calendar when they're going to take the day off. So you do the same. You may not be making, their type of money, or you may not be married to the same type of person, whatever, but taking care of yourself, planning time to rest is essential. And that is the absolute first thing you must do in order to claim your time, in order for you to manage your time, and in order for you to make sure that you're able to release and relax and to just be. Because if you don't plan it, it won't get done. Okay? So make time to take at least one day off, or maybe one evening off, depending on how busy your schedule is. But block off that time on your calendar and let people know on Fridays from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Don't call me, don't talk to me, don't text me, don't ask me to do nothing, because the answer's going to be no. And stick to it. Plan your naps. I am so serious when I say this. I don't have to do it as much now as I did maybe a couple of years ago. Let me tell you, I would plan my naps. On my calendar, it would say from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Sharika's taking a nap. I kid you not. And I honor my nap time. It might not have been 2 hours every day, but I would put it on my calendar, maybe an hour here or an hour there. Plan my nap time, especially on days when I knew I was working out, or on days where I knew I had to get up like at 4 o'clock in the morning and then, won't be able to get back into bed until midnight. I would make sure that I would schedule my breaks and schedule my naps. And my breaks may only be 15 minutes, but it reminded me, especially when you work from home, it reminded me to get up and move my body. It reminded me to get up and move my eyes away. Can you hear me now? Oh, okay. All right, good. Okay, let's try this again. Whew, that's all right. So I think I left off, I was talking about scheduling a day off per week. Hold on one second. This thing here. Okay, my light was too bright. I couldn't really see the screen here. So we talked about taking a day off per week. We talked about scheduling your nap time. Schedule your spiritual time. If your spirituality is important to you, schedule time where you go to church, whether it's Sunday or Saturday or Wednesday or Tuesday. Make sure you have time for that. Or if your spiritual time simply consists of 15 minutes of meditation, make sure you make time for that during your day or during the week. Do the things that are important to you first and put it on your calendar. When I say put on your calendar, I mean literally put it on your calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I have it synced to my iPhone. And I don't do it as much now, but I actually used to have a paper calendar, like a planner book that I used to carry with me. But when you actually sit down and plan your time, it allows you to see what's realistic and what's not realistic. Because if you're planning on working out for 4 hours a day, then you have 8 hours of work and then 1 hour commuting time, and then you have 3 hours spent with the kids. You're going to run out of time really quickly if you don't really realize where your time is going. So that's why I say make sure you take care of yourself first. Plan your downtime as much as possible. And so that gets me to another one. Have the calendar. Use a Google Calendar. Have it synced up to your phone. And I'm pretty sure Google can sync up to Android or to iPhone, whatever type of cell phone you use, right? But when you are using your calendar, plan out everything. Meaning, if you go to work at 8 o'clock, make sure you put in time for personal hygiene, put in time for travel. So for example, if I have to be at work at 7 o'clock, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock, because from 5 to 5:30 is my spiritual time. From 5:30 to 5:30 to 6:15 is going to be like my personal hygiene. I go and shower and do all the stuff I need to do. 6:15 to 6:20, 6:15 to 6:20, 6:30, I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to walk my dog. Then from 6:30 to 7, it's going to take me 25 minutes to drive to work. So that way you know that you really cannot afford to sleep past 5 a.m. So you see how you're conditioning your mind to actually see your time and how you're spending. So you know, okay, I cannot hit the snooze. If I hit the snooze, this is going to push out my whole day. So plan your times. And one of the biggest things that's helped me out is to plan my meals. There are 2 things I spend a lot of time doing. Well, 3 things. I used to spend a lot of time planning my hair, planning my clothes, and planning my food. Keep it simple. I have gotten to this habit now. On Sundays, I cook for the whole week. And my life is so, I don't have to think about food at all. I literally grab and go. And I know a friend of mine, she has 4 kids and a husband. She plans her food for the entire week. 4 kids and a husband and a dog and a cat and a whole bunch of lizards. Like this girl, I have learned some things from her about time management. She makes it look easy, okay? But she has a system so that she doesn't spend so much time trying to make a decision. And that's what we talked about the other day. Simplify your life. Do things in block. So from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., you're cooking and packaging your food. And then from 6 to 7, you lay out all your clothes for the week, just like you would do with your kids. You would like lay out your kids' clothes for the week. Lay out your clothes. I plan all my outfits on Sunday. So literally, I just go in my closet, grab my clothes, put it on, and I'm good to go. I don't have to think. The less you have to think about, the easier your life will become. And then when you plan it out properly, you begin to go into a flow, because it may seem very robotic right now, but the more you do it, it becomes automatic. Okay, so use your calendar. The other thing here I want to show you, I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, here we go. I want to show you this. Okay, should be able to see my screen now, right? Can you see my screen? Okay. So one of the things that I do is I have a to-do list. And this is what I want to show you about to-do list. You have a task, you have a priority, you have a due date, and this is the most important thing, the time it takes. I have started, and this is a category I just started adding to my to-do list, because what I will find is, and this is in no particular order here, I will find is I will schedule, 10 things to do on Friday, and those 10 things may actually end up taking 12 hours to do, and I don't have 12 hours to dedicate in one day to do all these tasks. So what that does is force me to reallocate what's really my priority, what really do I need to get done today, and what can I move to tomorrow. And then have your status, whether it's complete. Let me see. I have closed, complete, in progress, and just blank. And then, oh, can you see that? I have closed, complete, in progress, and just blank. And then just notes. And most of this stuff is business stuff, but every once in a while, well, not in this one. Maybe I have something hidden. Do I have something hidden? Well, not in this particular spreadsheet, but I used to have a column here called category. And here I would say like something personal, business, family, or something like that, so I can kind of see where I'm spending my time. So if you are not a big fan of a calendar, or you've tried the calendar and it doesn't really work for you, I would suggest using a to-do list. And the best thing to do, and you can do this at work, you could do this for your personal time. At the end of the day at work, like if you get off at 4:30, at 4:15, take a look at your to-do list and plan for the next day. Look at what you have to do, how much time it's going to take for you to do it, what's the priority, and can you really get it done? At the end of your personal day, before you go to bed, take a look at your to-do list for the next day. Okay, these are my goals for the week. These are the tasks that I said I need to get done for the week, for tomorrow. Can I realistically get all this stuff done tomorrow? If not, what can you reorganize? What can you put off until a later time? Or what can you ask for help on? Okay, so this is something I use for both my personal time and my professional time in order to make sure I'm using my time wisely. And in this column right here has really, really helped me out. The time it's going to take for me to complete a task, because I got into this place where I would schedule 10 things to do. And like in business, in order for me to schedule my social media posts, it may actually take me 4 or 5 hours to do social media. Like some tasks that seem so simple takes up the most time. It truly does. And so once I realized that social media takes me 4 hours out of a day to actually plan for the next 3 or 4 days, I learned to only schedule 2 tasks on the days I have to sit and do social media, because I cannot do it in 1 hour, or I cannot do 4 hours of that and then 8 hours of something else. That's unrealistic. So this column really helped me to kind of refine that process. So get a to-do list, and I will also encourage you to do, if you have the ability, print it out every day. So at the beginning of the day, or at night as you're preparing for the next day, print it out so you can have it with you. So you can see, okay, these are things I need to do. This is how much time I said I was going to do it. And if you're not using a calendar, just kind of go down your to-do list. If you are using a calendar, put it on your calendar so that you know, okay, at 8 o'clock, I'm going to create new Facebook ads. At 12 o'clock, I'm going to follow up with DST. And at 2 o'clock, I'm going to schedule a post to ask this question. Put it at a time so that every hour of every day you know exactly what you're doing. Make sense? Okay, so that is a to-do list. And then for things that you have to put off, or you don't really have time to get it done in the day, delegate. Ask somebody for help. And this is one of those things that has been such a lifesaver for me, and I don't think we do enough of as women. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen here. As women, we like being a superwoman. We like doing things on our own, right? But we were not created to do everything by ourselves. It's okay to ask for help. Like, asking for help does not mean that you're weak. And if it makes you feel better, instead of asking for help, delegate. Say, okay, I need you to take out the trash. I'm delegating you to do this. This is your responsibility. Or daughter, I am asking you to do this. And I literally just had this conversation today. A friend of mine, her daughter's birthday is today. And she had, unfortunately, both her kids got sick last night, which forced her to be in the emergency room almost all night until about 4 o'clock in the morning. But they're both fine. And so her husband was there. And so her husband is off of work today. She had to go to work today, but she was feeling frustrated because she had to get up extra early after only an hour worth of sleep to go to the store to pick up her daughter's prescription. As she was coming out the store, guess who she sees? Her husband, who came to the store to go to the ATM because he needed to get a haircut for the day and do some other stuff. And she's like, why the hell did you not tell me that you was going to be up this early? Because you could have come and got the prescription and I could have went to work. And he's like, I didn't know. She's going, well, you were at the hospital with me. You knew that I needed to get the prescription, so you could have volunteered. Don't ever assume anybody knows what you need. Okay? Yes, we do kind of expect people, especially our men, to kind of step up to the plate sometimes. Don't make that assumption. Ask for what you need. Because if you know that you're only going to get an hour's worth of sleep, if you know your husband is going to be off of work that next day, ask him, hey, can you pick up this prescription while I go to work? There is nothing preventing him from doing that. And when you ask him, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, I do have to get up early anyway to go to the store, so I'll go do it while I am out. And that would have saved her some frustration. She could have gotten maybe an extra hour of sleep, and her day would have went a lot more smoothly had she simply asked the question and not assumed that just because her husband heard the same information that she heard, that he was going to think, ding, 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 I need to pick up the prescription in the morning since I don't have to go to work. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Don't be afraid to delegate a task to someone else. And we talked about this yesterday with perfectionism, that just because you delegated to someone else and they don't do it the way you expect it to be done, or they don't do it how you expect it to be done or how you would normally do it, doesn't mean they're less than capable of doing it. Meaning, if you ask your husband to clean the kitchen and he don't clean it like you clean it, it's okay. The world is not going to end. Okay? I know. The kitchen, we like things a certain way. We like the pots put up a certain way. We like the spices organized a certain way and all this good stuff. But if he puts the salt where the pepper should be, or if he puts the pots where the pan should be, ain't nobody died. You ain't lost no money, and you still got a roof over your head. Ask yourself, is it really that crucial? Let go of your control to have things done the way you want them done, and allow other people to help you in their imperfections. Because it's not important whether or not, or it's not important how it gets done. What's important is that it does get done. Meaning that it doesn't matter if he uses the dishwasher or he washes them by hand. As long as the dishes are clean and he used soap, it's okay. It doesn't matter if your son vacuumed the floor in straight lines or diagonal lines. As long as the floor got vacuumed. Now you laugh. I know. I have a friend of mine. He used to get in trouble. His mama used to get on him about vacuuming the carpet in diagonal lines instead of straight lines. It had to be straight. And I'm like, you stressed. You doing too much. But did it really matter? Because the carpet got clean. You know, my dad, bless his heart, he can't cook to save his life. He cannot cook. And so my mom had him cook one time when she was gone. And my dad called himself making some chicken and dumplings. Y'all, them dumplings was not done. But we ate. We didn't go hungry while my mama was gone, though. We did not go hungry. But my mom, she was like, y'all ain't gonna starve. I'll be gone for a few days, but as long as he don't poison you, as long as you don't starve, you'll be all right. I learned how to cook while she was gone. But you know, you see where you have to, there are times in your life where you have to choose to see the big picture. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to delegate. And if you're in a position where sometimes you just don't know how to ask for help or what to ask for help in. If you have a close friend or if you have your husband, your significant other with you, just sit down with them and say, hey, I have a lot to do and I really don't know how to ask for help. These are the things that I have to get done. Is there anything that you see that you can help me with? And I do this with my best friend all the time. I truly do. And there were things that she's been able to help me with. I didn't even know she had the skill set to do. I didn't even know because I hadn't seen that side of her. And she's like, yeah, I can do this for you. I'm like, really? Shoot, that's all I needed to hear. Like, you just said a word. So even if you don't know what to ask for, sit down with somebody you trust and say, this is what I need help with. Can you do it? Or ask them, do you know a way I can get this done without losing my sanity while kind of keeping pace with everything else? And you'll be surprised what happens when you can brainstorm and ask the question, can you make a suggestion? Do you have a resource? Do you have an idea on how all of this can get done? When two brains come together, you can find all kinds of solutions. So that's delegate. And the other thing that is a part of delegation, asking for help, ask for help with problems specifically. Because what happens is when we face a problem in our day-to-day life, let's say, use the example of the kids coming home at 6 o'clock saying, I need cupcakes tomorrow at 7. That is a problem because it's important that family is high on your priority list, right? It's like in your top 1, 2, or 3. And so it is your desire to make sure that your family has what they need and that they're satisfied. But you literally cannot take the time to make homemade cupcakes. You literally cannot make the time right now to go to the store and buy cupcakes. So what do? Ask your husband, ask your significant other, ask your best friend, hey, I have this problem. My kid literally came to me at 8 o'clock tonight and said he needed cupcakes. Is there any way you can help me out with this? What is the solution I can get this thing done? Because I would be personally devastated if my kid is disappointed tomorrow and not have cupcakes. So don't forget to ask for help for problems. Be a problem solver. Don't panic and don't get into a frenzy. Find a solution that you can execute in a calm way. That solution could simply be calling up somebody and say, hey, how can we get this done? Or simply, or seeing, or sacrificing something else and say, okay, I have to, I don't know. I have to show up for this meeting over here at 7 o'clock and it's out to 9. Can you go in my place while I get the cupcakes, or can you take notes from me while I go get the cupcakes? Or whatever the case is, be a solution versus going into panic mode. Okay? And then, this is a good one too. The next step here is to have a spending plan. It's not just enough to have a plan to manage your time. Having a plan to manage your money goes hand in hand, meaning that one of the things I used to do, and I don't do this often anymore, is to use the envelope system. Meaning, if you know on Sunday nights, you know that you have to go shopping for the kids' shoes this week. You know that you have to go grocery shopping. You know you have to go do laundry, right? Those are 3 tasks you know has to get done at some point during the week. And there are some other things during the week that's going to cost money. Now that you have your calendar, now that you have your to-do list for the week, you know exactly what's going to cost you money. So go ahead and assign a dollar amount to that. And if it can use cash, go ahead and get the cash out the bank and put it in an envelope. So you have one envelope that says groceries, one envelope that says kids' shoes, one envelope that says cupcakes or whatever, I don't know. One envelope that says laundry, right? I'm stuck on these cupcakes, y'all. Whatever the case is, have an envelope for that and stick to the envelope. The other thing that stresses us out when it comes to managing our time is having our finances get away from us. I don't know if I know it stresses me out when I only plan to spend $200, but I end up spending $400 for stuff I forgot that I needed to do. But when you plan out your week and you plan how you're going to spend your money and you use cash, that's the key to this, is using cash 90% of the time when you can. That allows you to say, okay, I know I needed to go grocery shop, so I allocated $100, but I went over by $10. So I'm going to take the extra $10 out of the cupcake fund. And so I have to get less cute cupcakes, or whatever the case is. You're able to finagle your money using the envelope plan, and you can be able to stick within your spending plan, stick within your budget, because nothing is worse than having a runaway time and runaway money. You want to know at all times where your money is going and know at all times where your time is going. So have a spending plan for the week and stick to it. Don't worry about getting extra money out for emergencies. Don't do that. There are no emergencies. If there are emergencies, you have an emergency fund in your bank account for that. Overspending on shoes is not an emergency. So you don't dip into that fund. You're going to have to take it out of your groceries or take it out of your laundry bill. You finagle that thing so that at the end of the day, at the end of the week, your balance that's in your purse is zero. You have spent every dollar you said you were going to spend, and it has gone to everything you said it was going to go to. Okay, so have a spending plan per week and use the envelope system as much as you can. The third, I don't even know what number I'm on. The next thing here is to simply say no. Say no. Have boundaries. We say yes so much. Try saying no. I don't know if you heard me tell this story before, but I was in a meeting one time. It was so funny. And, I was in a meeting with a lawyer and some, what were their positions? Somebody in marketing and somebody else. And so they asked me, this is what they said. They said, Sharika, do you want to read what's on the screen? I said, no. And I said no. Like, it was a complete statement, no. And it was so funny. The room got quiet. And then everybody just bust out laughing. Like, oh my God, no one's ever told her no. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to read. And I use that example because in society today, we are not used to hearing no. We are not used to telling others no. And when you say no to people, it's going to shock them, probably to the point of laughter like I did. But stick to your guns, because you can say no without offering an explanation. I didn't tell them why I didn't want to read it. I just didn't feel like reading it. And I didn't read it either. So use no judiciously, meaning say no to things that's going to distract you. Say no to things that doesn't fall into your value system. Say no to things that has the potential to get you stressed, to get you off center, to get you all frazzled. That could actually mean saying no to a phone call. You see your phone ring and it's one of your friends who always has drama. Don't even answer. That's a no. You if you see somebody coming down the hallway who always got something negative to say, that's a no. I'm going to find a way to exit stage left. Okay? That is a no. And it could be a hard no. Someone says, hey, do you mind doing this for me? No. Or say, yes, I do mind, which is a no. Or you can say, no, I am not in a position right now to do this for you. Can we do it some other time? It can simply be a no, I don't have time. So use that word at least once a day. At least once a day, just to get used to it. And it's going to be funny at first. So at least if you do it every day for a week, at least one person is going to get offended. If one person doesn't get offended, you ain't doing it right. But if they are really your friend, if they're really your friend or your family member, they'll get over it. They all do. So don't be afraid to say no. Minimize your distractions. Minimize your distractions. Stop trying to multitask, like I was saying earlier. Don't eat and walk your dog and check your email and talk on the phone all at the same time. We don't have to be master multitaskers. Do one thing at a time. And when you do that one thing at a time, it allows you to do it better. Think about it. When you are just focused on cooking, you're relaxed, you're paying attention to the details, you are putting in the right amount of seasoning, you are taking your time and doing it right. And so when you're done cooking, you're like, yeah, I did that thing. So take your time and do it. If you're on the phone with someone, talk on the phone. Don't be in a position where you're driving or you're watching TV or you're walking around. Be still, be focused, so that you can hear everything. And the other thing about doing one thing at a time, you can hear from God easier. Think about that. When you are talking on the phone with someone and you are focused, you are still, you don't have the TV going, you don't have the radio going, you are focused here. And when you're in a place of listening, you can also hear God nudge you to hear the things that's not being said. When you are reading or when you are cooking, I'll tell you, God helps me cook too. I don't know if y'all know that. Or God helps me pick out my clothes, or God helps me. God is your everyday helper. When you are in a position to do one thing at a time, your mind is focused, you're still and you're at ease, you can hear God speak to you. You can hear, or you can feel God's nudge to pick the red shirt, or to add a little bit more pepper, or to ask your friend what's really bothering her. God can speak to you or he always speaks, but you can hear him and you can feel him, you can sense him a whole lot clearer and a whole lot stronger. Okay? So do one thing at a time. Now you want to give yourself incentives. So when you have done all these things, you planned out your week, it's Sunday, and you have your schedule going, you have your to-do list, you prioritize and everything, reward yourself. At the end of the week, when you say, yep, I have accomplished working out 6 days a week, and what are my other goals? I spent 2 hours of quality time with my kids, with my mom, and I don't know, and I cooked all my meals for the week. I feel good. I'm going to reward myself. Give yourself a small token of a reward, whatever that is for you. It could be anything from buying a pair of shoes, or treating yourself to some chocolate chip cookies, or walking around the mall, whatever it is that you want to buy yourself a Groupon to go get a facial, go get a massage or something. Have incentives for every week that you accomplish your goals, for every week that you achieve a sense of peace, a sense of achievement, because you have taken control of your time. Reward yourself. And have an accountability partner. So I did this with one of my coaching clients, let me see, last summer and fall. I had a group of coaching clients, and part of what we were doing was just this time management and accountability. So every Sunday they had to either email me or send me a snapshot of their calendar for the week to make sure they were doing their work to take back control of your time. So have an accountability partner, whether you have a coach, it could be your best friend, it could be your mom, it could be your husband, whomever. Have somebody that you're accountable to who can help you stick to creating your calendar and stick to your calendar. So for me and my best friend, we have a system going to where, she also does it with her husband. And it helps with her relationship too, because her husband's love language is quality time. And so she works full time. She's a mother, and she runs a women's organization. So her schedule is busy. So when she creates her schedule on a Sunday night, she actually sends it to her husband so he can see what she has planned for the week. And he says, okay, you're free Wednesday night. I want Wednesday night to be our time. And he's okay with that versus asking on Sunday, you have any time for me? Then Monday, do you have some time for me? Then Tuesday, do you have some time for me? So he's feeling rejected because quality time is his primary love language. But now he says, oh, I see that you actually really are busy. You're not just rejecting me for the heck of it. So let's plan our date night for Wednesday. Let's plan our date night for Saturday. And he's happy. Everybody's happy because she's getting what she needs to be done, and he's getting the attention that he needs. So that is a way to have an accountability partner as well, because best believe if something comes up on Wednesday, he don't get his quality time, he's like, no. Here's your schedule right here. It says 6 p.m. It's me and you. It's me and you. And even between me and her, we also share our calendars as well to hold each other accountable. Sharika, you're supposed to be working on your business today. Or Sharika, you're supposed to be at the gym at 6 o'clock. Why aren't you at the gym? And so we hold each other accountable. So have an accountability partner for that. And then last but not least is to create healthy habits. Because we can have the best time management in the world. We can have the best money management skills in the world. But if you don't have any physical energy, if you're only planning 3 hours of sleep every night, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to get things accomplished. You're not going to have the personal power, the personal energy levels that you need in order to accomplish the day. So this doesn't mean you have to go and lose 28,000 pounds and work out 18 times a week. It just simply means make sure you're taking care of your body. Drink water. Get at least 6 hours of sleep a night. Make sure you move your body. An easy way to move your body is in the evenings after dinner, take a walk around the block. Just one time. You don't have to do it 5 times. After dinner, go for a walk. Takes you 15 minutes to go around the block. You move your body. Stretch. Stretching has been the absolute best thing I could have ever started doing for myself. In the mornings, I stretch my body. I stretch my neck, stretch my shoulders, touch my toes, move my hips, move my knees. Stretch your body. And what that does, especially with stretching, is it gets your blood moving. And there's life in your blood, right? So, and the blood is what moves your oxygen. Your blood is what moves the nutrients. Your blood is what moves everything in your body so that everything functions the way it does. So stretch your body. Make sure you're creating healthy habits in the midst of all of this, because when you have the proper rest, the proper bodily movements, then your mind can be more at ease and you have the energy to do all the things that you have desired to do for the week. Okay, so I don't think this was a really, really heavy lesson today like yesterday was or like Sunday was, but I think this was a good lesson for me, give you the tools that you need in order to get everything done during the day and during the week. So do have a homework assignment. Your homework is to send me your calendar. So over the next 24 hours, I want you to plan out so tonight is Tuesday night. If you do your calendar tonight, I want to see what your calendar is going to look like for tomorrow. If you are watching this on Wednesday, I want to see what your calendar looks like for Thursday. Plan out your day. I won't even make you plan out your whole week. If you do want to plan out the rest of your week, go ahead and do it. But take the time to plan out your day and put on there, wake up, personal hygiene, commute time to work, your schedule, block out the time where you're at work, whatever else that you have to do on your list, on your daily to-do list. If you have to do chores, block out an hour and a half after work to do chores. Get in the habit. I want to see your schedule for the day. Really simple, really easy. If you don't care for the schedule, do a to-do list. Create a to-do list like I showed you earlier. Have the task, have the priority. I use 1, 2, and 3. You can actually use urgent, important, nice to have, or unimportant. I use a number system. You can use either one of those that you want. You can put a date next to it and then put in there the amount of time in hours it's going to take for you to accomplish that task. So you can use the calendar or the to-do list, or you can combine them together. I use them both together. So that's what I want to see from you. Just reply back to one of the emails you've gotten from me this week. Attach it as a PDF or attach it as a screenshot. So I want to see it, and let me know how it feels to actually kind of plan your time out that way so that everything has its place. All right, you have any questions for me before we get off the line tonight? All right, if you don't have any questions, thank you so much for joining me here. Again, I'm going to send you a recording, both the audio and the video for your reference. It may be broken up into 2 videos since my internet connection just disconnected for some reason. So it may be broken up into 2 videos, but you'll at least get the content. And then I'll send you some of the notes, the time management tips that we talked about tonight, so you'll have it as easy reference. Okay? All right. Well, again, thank you for joining me here tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be fun. Tomorrow we're talking about becoming the queen of your castle and not the slave. Because let's face it, a lot of us, we're slaves in our own home. We're slaves at the job. We're slaves everywhere we go because we're too busy taking care of everybody else and not taking care of ourselves. So we're going to talk about putting on our crown and walking around and operating with the posture of a queen. So tomorrow night is going to be fun. So join me back here tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? All right. I'll see you later. Thank you.